test the other day, and it was functioning well. So let me just we can stop and try again. But the audio is reading on the microphone, so it should be live. I'm gonna stop the stream and just restart it and see if that helps.
You can hear it, right?
Oh, now we can.
Yeah. Can you guys hear us? He said they can hear now.
Can you hear us?
Alright, I'm gonna go video live. Video's live.
All right, we're back live again. We're gonna try.
Video's coming. Hold on.
Yeah. Are you reading comments?
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. We're gonna get this right. We're trying to set this up so we'll do this, fairly often. But with all new technologies, there is always glitches, especially in,
Cool.
film and production.
There we go. Should be good.
Okay. Welcome. We'll try it again. Welcome to the Gerber Kawasaki live stream, the special Tesla event, brought to you live here from Gerber Kawasaki with my partner here, Brett Sifling, who will be helping out today again. I wanted to help answer your questions with regard to what to do with your Tesla stock. We've had an enormous rally. We had a secondary offering today. We were just getting a ton of inbound emails and messages about should I buy Tesla, should I sell Tesla, what should I do with my options, is this a good time? And so I wanted to reach out and try to help people make smarter decisions about what they're doing with their finances and their financial plan and where Tesla fits in that. And then any specific stock questions or questions about the secondary offering, gigafactories, anything to do with Tesla. I know you guys don't want to talk Tesla, so I'm probably me and a handful of people are probably the group of people who know the most about Tesla and have the most access to understanding the different components of Tesla. So I want to get into questions today. First, I want to just give you our very famous disclaimer. Please use your brain. Investments involves tons of risk. You should be working with a fiduciary advisor like us, Gerber Kawasaki. We have no minimums, so you have no excuse for not reaching out, calling, emailing us. We're happy to help you, but please understand that all investments have risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any decision you make is your own responsibility with regard to your trading. So do not assume that any discussion that we're having today will, you should just take as your recommendation. If you wish to get a specific recommendation, please reach out to us. We're here to help, but anything you do is your own responsibility. So with that, why don't we get into some questions? Today was an exciting day for Tesla. They raised over $2 billion. I said in 39 seconds. They used Goldman and Morgan Stanley, which I thought was ironic because these are the two firms that downgraded Tesla when it was at the low, saying it was a sell. And now, now they can't wait to fall over themselves to raise money for Elon and help Tesla. And the stocks responded very strongly, despite with most secondary offerings, the dilution causes a decline in the stock. And pre-market, the stock was down 7%. But I think by the time analysts read my tweets and realized the positive nature of the ability to raise money and what the extra $2 billion will look like on their balance sheet and helping them further their long-term growth, the market has now perceived this as a positive development, and the stock was up about 40 points when I came into the meeting. So I want to get into your questions. We got questions.
One was like one said that he mentioned that they didn't really need capital recently, a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And later they raised capital. So
right.
That's a pretty easy explanation here.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing you have to understand about Silicon Valley is you can't take everything on the surface. What he said is we don't really need capital, which was true. But I think when you're looking at your stock that's doubled since the last time when he said that, it was really a prudent decision for them to raise capital. And it was really a very minimal amount of dilution. Yeah. I think the overall dilution to the company was not even 2%. So, so it's just prudent. And I have to, tell you, Elon is going to do what's best for Tesla. And he might say something one day, but things change. And the next day he might do something else. And that's just the way it is if you're a Tesla investor. So I think they don't need the capital, but I think what they're doing is accelerating the speed of the deployment of this capital and their growth and also being smart raising capital now. Because remember, when they raised capital last time, it was like the next day the market got hammered. It was like, I forgot what had happened. But it was like last year when they did the convertible, which we bought and is more than doubled our money on. It was like the next day, I think it was literally the next day, there was some event in the market that put a lot of pressure on the stock market. And it was like, boy, thank God they raised yesterday versus today. So you got to strike when the iron's hot, and that's what Elon did, and I think it's smart.
Yeah, it's the environment. It's you might as well take the cash while you can get it. What about Shanghai's going into lockdown tomorrow, or what do you think about the whole China?
Yeah, see, this is the part where I'm scared for Tesla, as well as the entire global economy, which is one of the reasons we've lowered our allocation to stocks by a few percentage points over the last couple of weeks, is that coronavirus is way worse than what people are saying. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be like tons of people dying this. I'm saying economically speaking, right now the supply chain in China is shut down. The consumers in China are shut down. So they've tried to get the Tesla factory up. They're trying to deliver cars in China. Super hard time to be doing business in China. My wife orders her company's stuff from China, and the factories there are basically closed till the 24th of February, and we expect more disruption because of this problem, and it's across the board, whether you're Nike or anybody else.
Yeah, and they revised the numbers today and increased them, right? And so we still think that they may be covering up the true amount of cases.
Come on,
that are
okay, so anybody who believes a number the Chinese government gives you is like literally clueless. Okay, the purpose of communism is to do what's best for the state. So the numbers that they release and the way they're attacking this, it's the state, it's the people versus the virus. So it does China absolutely no good. Like, there is no truth in communism. Truth doesn't work in communism. And that's how communist leaders have led since Lenin wrote the book. Okay? So, I've been reading a lot about it. And so whatever you're hearing from China, if it's coming from China, is not true. What we're hearing on the ground in China it's real bad. And you've got an entire population just holed up in their homes, and people are scared to go out. You're talking about a very germ-phobic society as it is. I mean, people are scared to go out, and it is going to be a huge economic implication, and we're just not even sure. Not one analyst have downgraded earnings for any company yet. We've seen like very little economic adjustment yet to this new reality, because everybody thinks, oh, it'll get cured and they'll be back shopping on Wednesday. And it's just not going to be the case. So we've got a major slowdown in the global economy coming, and it's going to affect Tesla.
And on the flip side of that, you have China and the Fed just kind of pumping liquidity into the markets too, trying to keep them up.
And we're going to see a lot more of that. A lot of money printed.
Do you think that Tesla will ever license their battery tech?
No.
Do we see a split in the near future? It's an interesting one.
I think Tesla should split the stock, and
exactly 840.
Well, I'm a big believer in stock splits. When I grew up, stocks used to split because it was like a sign of success, and what good is it a $700 or $800 stock when we want to buy stocks at $30, $40, $50? It just makes more sense. This trend kind of started, I think Warren Buffett started with Berkshire Hathaway, and then Google and Amazon, and they got in this contest of Apple. Oh, we're going to let our. And then Apple did a split, and so I think for Tesla, because the stock's shot up so much, they don't know where that equilibrium is yet.
That, and like in the last 5-7 years, like fractional share investing has also become more and more of a thing. So people can actually buy partial shares.
Yeah, but you're getting ripped off on those.
Well, definitely.
So Robinhood's just stealing your money. If you're buying fractional shares, trust me, you're getting a horrible deal. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you do it by a lot of trades, it's a bad deal. So we'd like to see a stock split, but very few companies are doing it nowadays.
Am I getting a full-time offer? I work here. What do we think about Giga Texas?
Giga Texas, that's where the $2 billion's going. So that's what I think's happening. This is based off no actual information other than my own thoughts. I think this capital raise was for Giga Texas. I think they're going to have an announcement soon. If they're going to get the semi and the Cybertruck, I mean, obviously they want to get the Cybertruck into production as soon as possible with the demand as high as it is. So in my mind, with the $2 billion, they probably already had financing pretty thought out for Germany. And so now they got this 2 billion, and they can just start Giga Texas. And because they were able to see what they did in China so successfully, like I think we can build a factory twice as long as it takes to build in China. So let's say 2 years. So they have to start construction of Giga Berlin and Giga Texas, I hope.
What about another
in the
theory
short
that I
term.
saw some people talking about? We're building a second factory actually in China as like a vote of confidence for showing the people there that they believe in them.
No, that would be a cannabis-induced idea.
All right. So, would you guess that the Tesla's earnings report is going to be before or after Battery Day?
Well, Battery Day is April 4th, they're saying now. And by the way, we are going to have an awesome party. I'm working on April 5th because I'm not going out to Buffalo, New York for a battery presentation. That's for sure. And I don't know how many Tesla people are really going to go out for that. I'm certainly going to watch it. But we're planning our party on April 5th as of now. And we're going to put up a page, and we want to get the best 100 Tesla influencers
It's going to
together.
be a lot of fun.
It's going to be amazing. And it's this house in Malibu I've got for parties, and it's actually my other music business is based out of there. We're going to have performances from all these great young acts. It's going to be a super fun afternoon. So earnings at the end of March, they release the numbers for deliveries, so that will happen probably about that time, April 4th, 5th. Well, that's the weekend, so it'll probably happen April 2nd, let's say, or 3rd, and then earnings will come probably at the end of April.
Do we have any thoughts on Powertrain Day or the Battery Day?
I mean, I think this is a crucial part of the equation for Tesla, and I think what we're really going to learn is that they're creating the most incredible batteries ever made. I think they have breakthroughs in technology that they're going to talk about. A 1,000,000-mile battery on a car. I mean, this could be amazing.
Yeah, and it's definitely been seen as a catalyst for the stock at one point. Do you think that if they did come out with some amazing battery tech that was way better than what's in the current models, that it would like cannibalize that at all?
No, I don't think it's about cannibalization because they're going to have to scale it. So they've got to. So what I think Tesla's doing is building a vertically integrated battery technology factory so that they're not relying on everybody else for cells. So if they develop their own cells, they can vertically integrate, make the whole battery pack on their own. They don't need Panasonic. And I think that, right now, the demand is so high, they'll probably have multiple suppliers of cells. So it won't just be them dumping everybody. But I think batteries haven't really improved in technology much in the last 30 years, and I think these are the kind of breakthroughs that make Tesla so interesting, and I think they're doing it.
Do you think that he's crazy enough to build two factories at the same time?
Yeah.
Two new ones?
Yeah, I think he is. I think they've mastered the model. Fremont, if you've ever been to Fremont, it's one of the weirdest factories you'll ever see because not only do they make the actual battery packs in not, they make it in Reno, and then they put it on a truck for 4 hours, and they drive it to Tesla. Every day, there's a truck driving 1,000 batteries to Tesla, okay? And then Fremont takes these battery packs, and then they build the car, and then they assemble the car, and then even in that process, they even drew this out in the earnings release. Like they got to drive stuff around. So when you're at Tesla, you have to kind of go in this like golf cart from each section of the process, and it's totally inefficient. And so when they built Fremont and when they built the first Teslas, it was kind of efficient, and Fremont's just kind of the least efficient, most expensive place you could build a car. So
California.
So they figured this out, and so with China, what they showed is that if we have Chinese people doing this, boy, construction in a year, we're up and running. Permits are easy. Workers work 24 hours, 7 days a week or 6 days a week in China. Boom. And so I think they know they can repeat this in Germany and they can repeat it somewhere else. And the building makes sense. It's one long building. Everything works in a certain order. I think they can build these two no problem.
And this guy JT pointed out that second factory in China actually was our friends over at ARC's idea. Or she had tweeted it out, I believe.
Well, my friends at ARC, who I love, they have their thoughts, which are certainly theirs, and I have mine, and they're both
Q1
good.
deliveries, or an interesting question was, are we playing any of like the battery metal suppliers, kind of like people play like the Apple suppliers?
Well, So I want to look at this cattle company,
Yeah, that's
CATL
what
or
they're
whatever.
talking about is CATL.
Yeah, I think they do well out of this Tesla deal. It's a Chinese company, and I don't know it, so I can't really
Yeah, I
speak on
personally
it.
don't know that much about it,
I've
to be
got to like
honest.
track it down and look at it. I don't think the money is in playing per se the battery makers because it's almost like a commodity. I think the money is in playing Tesla, but I'm looking down the pike and saying where can money be made with this explosion of EVs over the next 5 years. Um, and I still think the purest, easiest way is just to own Tesla.
Yeah. What about any like Model S or X update? Because when I was talking to Eyal, who's one
Yeah.
of the other partners at the firm here, and he was like, if they don't come out with a refresh in the next year or so, like he might switch from his S to like an X or something along those lines.
Yeah, we've had that from a lot of people who say, "Oh, I want a new body. Oh, I want this or
Yeah.
that on the Model S," and I would love a coupe, but but there's two things. One, Tesla wasn't created to make luxury cars. Okay, Tesla's used luxury cars to finance the ability to build a mass-produced vehicle. The Model 3 and the Model Y will sell 100 times more than S and X over time, and that is Tesla's mission is to make sustainable transport. So what I think Elon should do and is probably working on is how do I make the car better? They're going to make this plaid mode. It's going to be the fastest car on the road, the Model S. I think they put some time and money into the interior. Maybe make the interior like more plush, more Mercedes-like, or you could say. But I don't see a big body redesign, mostly because I think the body looks good. So you take a risk by redesigning it because if people might not like it as much, and really, if it's just going to be a four-door, I think it makes more sense for Tesla to make a roadster so people like me can get a roadster. So I want a roadster, okay, and then all the Model S people who don't want to drive Model S anymore can buck up 250 grand and buy a roadster, and that's what I think is next. He'll be like, look, if you want a new body type, it's 250,000, and I'm in, Elon. Make me my roadster. I can't wait.
Someone said, we always talk about this kind of main risk of like if Elon were like die in a plane accident or something.
Right.
What about the Solar City case? If like he loses it, would he be forced to step down at all? Have you thought of that at all?
Elon doesn't lose cases. I don't know if you noticed that. Elon can charm a jury like no other, right? What would be the case? Like, oh, I bailed out my brother-in-law to buy a solar company for $2 billion, which is now like the centerpiece of Tesla's solar initiative. So you're saying that I broke some law or rule. I think they're ramping Buffalo now, and I'm really happy. I didn't like the Solar City deal at the time, but I'm really happy Tesla's in solar, and I think what Tesla's done is really smart with Solar City, and they shut down all the BS parts of Solar City, and I'm glad Tesla's in solar now, and I think solar is going to be one of the fastest growing businesses over the next 5 years. Look, how many houses in America have solar today, and how many should have solar? So to me, it's like 0%, and how many should? You could probably put solar on like 50 to 60% of the houses in America. So if we did that, right, that would be 50 million homes with solar. Boy.
Do you think that there is an impact for the solar roof in 2020?
Not financially, but I think that starts to come in 21.
Okay.
I don't know the
you
economics.
You guys are funny on these questions.
Right.
There's just some funny
I
ones.
want to hear funny ones too.
Like, isn't Mark Spiegel broke yet?
Mark Spiegel. You want to talk about Mark Spiegel? Okay, Mark Spiegel was never not broke. So it's not like he went from rich to poor. He's like living in his grandma's house with his dog, trading on his toilet. So I wish Mark luck. I'm sorry, Mark, that you lost all your money, but you could have listened to me.
More questions about the refresh, solar power, Giga Nevada, if it'll ever get finished. I don't understand.
Come on,
thoughts on Giga Buffalo? All the FUD talks are just BS. Is there any truth to it? This is the year of power and solar. Save the planet. Totally agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. So one of the things I've noticed about young people, and I'm lucky enough to hang out with a lot of young, motivated people, and I love the new generation, not millennials. I'm talking about the 21-year-olds, the 22-year-olds. You guys, you. I mean, this guy.
Yeah, I'm 24.
Okay. 24. God, you're getting old right under my eyes.
I
Look,
know.
he's all grown up. No, seriously, I can't believe how intelligent and conscious this younger generation is, because they will be most affected by climate. And you can look at this Greta Thunberg girl, whatever. It's everybody gets this. That's why Tesla's going up, because young people are buying the stock because they get it. Okay, old people don't care. You're 70-year-old Donald Trump. You just want your oil buddies to make money. You're going to be dead, buried, and gone when climate change is a major issue. And so I think the most positive thing for Tesla moving forward is that climate change in general, solar, whatever, this is the future, and it is here, and it is happening, and it is profitable too.
Yeah. And we're playing it other ways other than just Tesla too. We
Oh,
have
for sure.
Specific picks in the industry and weighted towards the sector that we
I mean,
really
solar's
do like
done
it.
amazing. We own the ETF, TAN. Solar companies like Enphase and Solar Edge, which makes inverters, have gone through the roof. I see this as just obvious trend, over the next couple of years. So I think Buffalo. So if you look at any tech company in America, you can find SEC things going on. You can find lawsuits going on. You can find all kinds of stuff, because there's so many lawyers per human in America that they need work, and so they sue, and people complain, and NTS, NHTB, or whatever, the car crashing people, they got to look at every car crash and this and that. Like somebody was saying that Tesla cars are dangerous. I saw some FUD bullcrap on that. And literally yesterday I was driving on autopilot, and I and I looked down for 1 second, and a car swerved into my lane, and my Tesla swerved away from the car and braked on its own. And as this was happening, I because I just glanced for a second at the radio, and then I looked up, and I didn't. It was on autopilot. I didn't even have a chance to grab the wheel, and it swerved, and it literally swerved. Didn't leave the lane though, and then slowed down.
Pretty impressive.
And I was like, wow, like that's probably the first time that the Tesla actually saved me from an accident that I didn't actually see. This is an amazing vehicle. Like, don't be confused. So when you read the FUD, like, Tesla isn't perfect. Okay, let's be real. Okay,
It's a developing technology with any developing technology.
totally. And there's a lot of business practices that if you get into weeds with a lot of companies, you could argue, oh, this is bullcrap or this or that. But the truth of the matter is, Tesla is creating an amazing set of products that are changing the world.
As like an energy company, and once they get this ramp out of the way, do you ever think that they'll start paying a more traditional dividend?
No.
No.
I think it'll be a long time.
He just likes reinvesting back into the business too much, kind of like Bezos.
Well, the goal is big. The goal is really big.
Yeah.
So it's like, like we pay a dividend at my firm because, we have excess capital, and I don't want to be like Tim Cook, just sitting on excess capital. And so we pay out if we have excess capital. And people go, why don't you spend it for growth? And I said, well, what should I spend it on? So we spend most of our money hiring people, new people, and training them, and investing a lot in new advisors. And that's helped us grow really fast. We're probably one of the fastest growing firms in the country, if not the, from organic growth. And I think that's the challenge all businesses have, is what's that ratio of capital invested to return. Now, Tesla's a very capital intensive business, so they're going to use capital for a long time to come.
Thoughts about Ford being a competitor? Not sure why.
Well, my feelings about the other car companies, Volkswagen, Ford, GM, I mean, they make crap cars. I don't think there's any other way to do it. They're almost like disposable. They'll like make a car that'll last 4 years. They need service because that's where the dealers make their money. Every car I've owned, the minute the warranty ends, everything breaks.
What about this Tesla recall that they had out yesterday?
Yeah,
I
it's a
noticed
couple
no one's
screws
really
in
talking
it.
about
Well,
that,
it's
but-
15,000 cars that
Okay.
are 5 years old, and it's a couple screws in the steering wheel.
Gotcha.
It's minor stuff, and it's very common. But I think, when you think about, once again, the future and you say, what is Volkswagen, Ford, or GM doing that is going to make a dent in the future? And I can't think of anything, you know?
Do you think that Model Y will have a new battery cell or the new battery cell? We don't really know.
I think they're already making Model Y and they're probably using the 2170 cells.
Someone else said, at which market cap do you think Tesla will go to pay dividends? We don't.
I don't think Tesla's a dividend stock for at least a decade.
Multiple people are also agreeing that their Model S saved the day by saying that they were on a slippery road and it helped them.
Oh, dude!
I mean, like in a snowstorm.
Totally. And when you have limited visibility, it's great. I sometimes will drive on autopilot, even though I'm kind of still driving, because it's almost like a second set of eyes. So like if it's dark out and I'm coming home from a concert or something, it's like it's nice to have the autopilot or fog.
And we do so much driving here in LA. So
most of the driving's very low speed, so autopilot's just like a necessity. But I think the biggest FUD stuff that I read is about how dangerous autopilot is and all this kind of stuff. And let me tell you, it is not. What's dangerous are all the other drivers on the road. Okay? So the biggest risk in LA are what I like to call Prius drivers. Prius drivers, I despise. Sorry if you're a Prius driver, but you stink at driving. And the more Priuses we get off the road and the more Teslas we get on the road, the less deaths. For sure. For sure. Kill the Prius. Blow them up. Hate them.
Have you ever heard of Tega Motors in Canada?
No.
They said that they build EV snowmobiles and could be
That
a Tesla
sounds awesome,
ATV.
though. That sounds awesome.
Love my dirt bikes and ATVs. Would love an electric one.
Yeah, they're making electric motorcycles. Look at Harley. If Harley didn't have this, secular decline of people driving motorcycles, they're making some great electric motorcycles.
Why is Electrify America price gouging? Thoughts?
Why not? Because it's Electrify America. It's Volkswagen, isn't it? That's
Do
why
you
I got to be
know-
on the Tesla Supercharger network.
Do we know the FCA carbon credit payout schedule?
No, we don't. And that's not known. Like there's a lot of money flowing to Tesla from these payments and
The
carbon credits
and,
and it's $100-some million a quarter they get off that, but you can't really quantify it.
Someone confirmed your fact that Priuses are bad drivers. A Prius actually hit 3 pedestrians yesterday in San Francisco.
Oh, I mean, come on. In San Francisco, that's easy. There's so much stuff going on in the streets in San Francisco. They're talking about making Market Street no cars, which I think is a great idea.
Someone said Ford and Amazon pushing delivery vans before the Rivian can actually ramp any of their models.
Yeah, this whole investment from Amazon, so Bezos is really jealous of Elon Musk for a lot of reasons. And Bezos is in a period of time in his life where he needs to prove to everybody.
He's partying in Hollywood right now.
No, who's partying in Hollywood is his real estate agents are partying in Hollywood.
$165
he's
million
just a sucker.
home.
I mean, if David Geffen's giving up his lifelong home,
the Warner home. Amazing.
I know.
It's
It's
got a
like
9-hole golf course.
Geffen made $100 million. Geffen is a smart man. But Elon Musk is about twice as smart as Jeff Bezos, especially when it comes to engineering, space, and all the things Bezos wishes he was smart in. And so I think he's trying to fund Rivian and trying to fund these competitors for Amazon for good reason, but I don't think they're going to be successful scaling anytime soon.
Do we think that Ford's going into the abyss? I think that's a solid
Ford has been
yes.
in the abyss for 40 years, and it's just been bailed out over and over again.
They took down the weight of the Model Y off the website. Could there be any weight saving?
Yeah, it lost some weight. It was moving so fast.
It was working out too much.
Yeah, or maybe it has no purpose. I don't know.
How is SpaceX affecting Tesla growth, if it is at all? Is there going to be a Cybertruck on Mars?
I think SpaceX helps Tesla. I think there's this part of it that people don't know or talk about where SpaceX technology oftentimes is incorporated into Tesla.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of little things like the metal used in the Cybertruck is actually designed for spaceships. This is a huge competitive advantage for Tesla, the relationship with SpaceX, because the technologies they're working on there, they're not always complementary, but certainly can be.
Here's an interesting one. So I've heard a bunch of people talking about Google potentially buying them out at $1,200 or $1,500 a share.
Well, Google already messed up not buying them out last year.
So I don't know. It seems like it'd be a little expensive for their taste. I'm trying
Well,
to go in at this point.
Google. So Google, Elon's friends with Larry and
Yeah.
Sergey. So they, I think it's Larry who he's good friends with. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
obviously.
And they like hang out together and all this kind of stuff. And what I think, and that's why Google is so integrated in actually the screen. I think that Google tends to want to do everything themselves, and so they have Waymo, and they've spent like tens of billions on Waymo. So it would be a complete admission of failure for them to buy Tesla or try to buy Tesla. Um, Tesla is a $150 billion company now, so an acquisition would have to come at 200 billion, and Google's, let's say, $1 trillion company. So that would be a huge. That's
Yeah.
just too big of a bite. This
Be-
was what I
that's
was
what I'm
hoping. Is
saying.
Tesla is protected now from being taken out by Mercedes or
Totally.
Toyota or Google. Tesla is the monster now. So this is awesome.
Yeah, do you think that once the Cybertruck actually is in production, that they can actually gain profitability on it in that first year?
No, I don't think you can build any car profitable in a year, but I think you can. You have that knowledge, so it's like you become cash flow positive on it really quickly.
Seeing a lot of questions, guys, on what the actual capital raise is going to again. If you go
It's
to
going.
the beginning,
If you read it, he's putting it in treasury bonds.
and we already talked
Yeah.
about a lot of this stuff too. If you just want to, we're gonna post this on like YouTube and everything as well, so you can go back and actually watch the beginning of the segment. and
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
please
those
subscribe to
questions
our
will be answered.
YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. Please like our page, our videos, and join our Twitter.
Yeah.
We do try to help everybody with information. We give it to the best of our abilities. I don't really hold back stuff, so I'm telling you, everything.
It is
I
what it
know.
is.
Um,
What about the Starlink IPO?
I think Starlink's interesting. I mean, it's been attempted sort of before, and I think Elon will be successful for it. I don't think there's a lot of money serving the internet needs of the poorest places on Earth. So I don't think he's building Starlink per se solely from profit motive. So I tend to avoid those as investments because
Yeah, like a lot of other companies are trying to do this too. Google, Facebook.
yeah, I think there's a lot of value with that. But I think the value lies somewhere less for shareholders.
Would we buy it on an IPO?
Starlink? Probably not because we don't buy IPOs typically. Once again, if you can show me the economics of signing up people in Congo for internet service, like
My mom says, does she own enough Tesla to get into the big party? You absolutely do.
oh, your mom wants to come? It's a Tesla 420 party. I don't know if parents are invited. My parents aren't. Sorry, Mom.
But hi, mom.
Yeah.
Tesla, Berlin, blah blah blah. Sell Amazon and buy Tesla. We like Amazon.
Sell
too.
Amazon?
Yeah.
No, you don't sell Amazon
You
to
can't
buy
sell
Tesla.
Papa
You
Bezos.
sell Ford to buy Tesla. I could give you a lot of stocks you could sell to buy Tesla, but not Amazon. Although I'm announcing that Jeff Bezos is officially retired. He is no longer running Amazon. If you have any confusion of that, I will take you up to the mountaintop he bought in Beverly Hills with his wonderful entourage of people that he's now friends with. Bezos was a guy driving a minivan, coming home every day after work, building Amazon, and now he's the guy.
Sold a lot of books to get there.
Yeah, he sold a lot of books. I don't even want to say what Jeff Bezos is because he might
What about,
shut off my purchasing cow.
Is Fang gonna be Tang soon? The Tesla.
I think we should make up a new thing. Like if Trump has MAGA, we should have our own. So I don't know if Apple should be in that list anymore.
T-Fangs.
Well, I like Microsoft long term. I like Tesla, obviously.
Sell Facebook, buy Tesla. It's a great trade.
I think video games should be in there, like an Activision or something.
Yeah, video game stocks have been creeping back up.
Oh, they've been doing well.
Would you buy Tesla at this level?
Oh, that
That's
was the
our-
question.
the
It
question
took
of a million
until
years.
almost the end of the show because we're ending in 2 minutes to finally get the question that I've been waiting for. Should I buy Tesla at what is it, $800?
Yeah, so,
Should I buy Tesla at 800, and why is it really, really hard to do? So let's say you're a new client of mine. You come to me with $1 million to invest cash, and you say, should I buy Tesla? What do we do as a firm? So our philosophy at our firm with these kind of stocks is it's super hard to time or guess where Tesla's going to be in 6 months. Now, I suspect that on the short term, there's Tesla's going to hit some rocks with the coronavirus and Q1, and it's going to be a tough quarter. But that being said, that presents another opportunity to buy. So what I would do if I'm a new client, and let's say I decide to put 5% of my assets in Tesla. So let's say it's $50,000 total. So what I would do is I would buy 10,000 of it today. Like I would just buy it at 800 because if you're not in the name and it runs to 1,000, you're gonna go out and jump off the Eiffel Tower that you were so dumb. So you buy $10,000 worth, and then you dollar cost average. I mean I use this all the time. I've traded stocks forever. We are real stock traders here, unlike many other people in the world. We actually trade stocks in bulk. I think we had our biggest trade ever the other day in 3,300 accounts simultaneously. 240 million we traded in one trade as we rebalanced many of our accounts through technology. So we're the biggest active manager for individuals out there. And so buying stocks is really hard, and dollar cost averaging is just a great way to do it. So dollar cost averaging is you just buy chunks of it. And so if Tesla rises, your first purchase is profitable. And maybe you buy more higher, and then maybe it drops, and then you buy more lower. But you can get your position in, let's say, over the next 5 to 6 months. If your goal is where's Tesla going to be in 5 years, then why does it matter getting in over 5 months? And so if you're an investor in Tesla today, you have to say to yourself, I will not sell the stock, let's say for 5 years. So I understand that it's long term. So you got to think of it like private equity. Like if I'm buying in at $150 billion, well, hopefully it's going to be worth $300 billion. But that's not going to happen tomorrow. So if you think Tesla's going to go from 800 to 1,600 in 6 months, I mean, if that happens, it'd be great, but that would also be the end of the mania, like end of the bull market, sell everything and move to Hawaii. So, so realistically, Tesla's overvalued. And if Tesla drops after Q1, now you have some gas in the engine to buy more stock. And I think that's a prudent way to get into Tesla slowly, dollar cost average. I think if you're a bettor, we've recently worked with a few Tesla bettors who have won big and helped them realize
so on the flip
their
side of that, what
profit.
if you have like a huge concentrated position?
Totally. Like
me.
me. And so I sold some, and I sold some for a very good reason, is because I like to sleep at night. And when I find myself nervous that I made too much money too quickly, and if I lose it, I'll be really pissed at myself, I sell some, because there's nothing wrong with it. I've heard a lot of arguments of like you shouldn't sell any, and I think those are the people who own like 3 shares. So if you're a small investor, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, if you're a small investor and you have 100% of your portfolio and you have 3 shares of Tesla, let's say, like you don't need to like trim and try to do all this because your ultimate risk is $2,500. You're trying to grow your money. What you really need to be focused on a savings plan that you're saving into that account and buying Tesla or other stocks every month to build your plan. We can help you do that here at Gerber Kawasaki. So feel free to reach out to set up a systematic savings plan. If you're an investor with, like, say, $50,000 in assets and it's all in Tesla, I think even though that's not a large amount of money, it is for a lot of people, I think that's still ignorant. Like, I think you should take some of it out. If Tesla's half your portfolio and the other half is a bunch of good dividend-paying stocks, you could say, oh, Tesla could have gone to the moon and I would have made more money. But it could also, like, as you were saying, one of the risks that we have with Elon is he flies in a small plane every day. Just like Kobe Bryant, every day. Now, you can say, oh, the chances are low and whatever. Say that to Vanessa Bryant, So I remember a guy named Frank Wells, and he was the CFO of Disney, and he was supposed to become the president of Disney, and he worked under Eisner, and he died in a helicopter accident. I'm a musician, so I'm actually a little bit superstitious about flying because, I was a kid, a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan.
The Day the Music died, too.
And when he died in a helicopter crash, that Clapton should have been on, and the Day the Music died, Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, all died in a plane crash. So this is not Payne Stewart, one of my favorite golfers, wins the Ryder Cup and dies in a small plane in a private jet. So private jets are pretty dangerous. Tesla has the worst succession plan of any $150 billion company. That is my big call to Elon Musk and the Tesla board, is they need to develop a succession plan. They need to have the kind of plan in place, because Elon does not live a normal lifestyle at all. And, there's just a certain risk with that. Warren Buffett, the biggest risk is he eats too much McDonald's. You know what I mean? So that's a risk, and that's why you have to have diversification.
People are asking if we just work with American clients.
We can work with international clients. I've been working on this. We're getting a ton of inquiries internationally. We totally want to do business with the rest of the world. So Schwab is one of our custodians. We've just recently realized that we can do international business through Schwab with a limited amount of countries, and it's fairly random. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see if we can work with you. And we're very close to working a deal with a very respected Swiss bank institution, so that we can offer our services all throughout the world. So that's our goal at GK actually right now, is to have a global investment business, and that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, and we'll sit down with you. We'll go over what you have already comprehensively. We talk a lot about your goals and what actually you want to do with the money before we put together that plan, and ultimately help you get there.
Yeah,
that's the real goal, is getting to your goals.
Yeah, so I have to say, if you're one of those gamblers who's made a bunch of money on Tesla and you're lucky, please reach out to us. Let's get a risk level while things are good. That makes a lot of sense for you. I think Tesla's going to go to 5,000 over the next 5 years or 10 years or whatever too. I don't look at the world that way, but boy, I think it's a great company to own over the next decade, and I think the size should be appropriate for your risk tolerance.
A couple quick ones. Canada, yes, I believe we can do business there.
Yeah.
Cost for using our services, just call us. I'll give you the
our cost
dollar
typically is 1%. And then it goes down based off how much money you have.
Yeah.
If you have small amounts of money, our fee's a little bit higher. Like if you want to invest $5,000 or $10,000, but we work with everybody, so we'll come up with a fee structure you're comfortable with.
And we don't have minimums. Someone else was asking that. We do not have minimums. We believe in truly democratizing financial advice, and we're here to get you guys invested.
Yeah, we're one of the few RIAs out there in the country that's willing to work with anybody of any age and not throw you into a robo-advisor platform. So let me tell you, if you're in a robo-advisor or a large index type portfolio, you own oil, you own chemicals, you own Ford and GM, you have 30% of your portfolio in what we consider horrible industries, and you really need to reassess your investments. If you're a green person, if you believe in climate change, if you have values, you need to have a portfolio that reflects that. And that's one of the things here at Gerber Kawasaki. Not only do we work with anybody, we will totally sit down with you, build a financial plan, because we're about solving wealth inequality here. I hear all this bull crap all day long. Oh, 90% of the money is owned by 10% of the people. Well, those 10% of the people who own it were poor when they started. Okay, and they just bought stocks, and now they own all the stocks, and it's so unfair. It's not unfair at all. You just got to buy some stocks. And, I can't buy stocks. Yes, you can. Call us. We'll help you. This is how you build wealth. This is how I build wealth. I had $5,000 when I was 23 years old. I had $5,000 in the money market, and back then it paid like 5 or 6%. And I started investing. I had a couple shares of Apple and Disney and at the time IBM and Viacom, and it's grown into a huge portfolio, and I've built a big business this way too. But we want to help you. We want to create solutions for you. So give us a chance, and I think we have a great opportunity to vastly improve your financial situation.
Cool.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's lunchtime for us.
JT says he's got to go, so we'll end it on that note.
Yeah, I'm sorry you got to go, JT. We do too. I'm getting hungry, and I got to make sure that before the market closes, I've done what I need to do today. But thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
We appreciate all your time. We're here to help. We're trying to do this a little more often. I've got kind of tired of some of the information that's being put out there, so we wanted to have a show and answer questions and try to be helpful. So hopefully you like our show, share it, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel again, or like us on Twitter, follow B. Sifling's Trade. This guy, he's 24 now. my God, he's going to be one of the best financial advisors of all time by the time he's my age. I've got a whole crew of these young people of every language we speak, every color we are. We're here to help you. That's why I'm here every day. I have enough money to retire, but I do feel our firm's mission is to help people build a better future. So give us a chance. Have a great day, and thank God for companies like Tesla.
See you guys.